Alright, so what's going on, guys? My name's Chopper and welcome back to another video. It is a very late video when I'm posting this. It's almost midnight while I'm recording this and I never ever do this late, but I decided today we just need to sit down and talk a little bit about Black Ops 4 to get everybody in the loop and really what we can expect going forward. Now, really fast, just before we get into this, if you guys are excited for Black Ops 4, then be sure you leave a like on this video because this is probably the most information that we realistically have a lot to talk about today, and believe me, this is going to be stuff that you're going to want to hear. So just, if anybody's not up to speed, if you did not see James Harden's first reveal of the Black Ops 4 logo, this was done intentionally. We'll get into that, but this is what it looks like, as you can see on his hat by here. And of course, you can see in the thumbnail a much better high-res design of it, but this is the official Black Ops 4 logo, and I'm telling you guys right now, this is what it is. This is not some mistake. This isn't a troll. This is actually what it is. I promise you that much. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys are confused as to why the logo has 4 of these tally marks and not IV, as technically the Roman numeral for 4 would be IV. Now, I've done a little research into this, and technically both answers could be right. I'll leave a link in the description to a Wikipedia page you can read about this on. It's kind of interesting stuff, but either way works. But I believe that this sort of has a double meaning, and Milo put it really well when he says that this isn't just Black Ops 4, but they're symbolizing within this actual logo that it's Black Ops 2 2. So with that in mind, it opens up massive possibilities for the campaign, for the multiplayer, and for the zombies, just based on those specific details. But we'll talk about campaign and multiplayer stuff later. I don't really want to get into that now. What I want to talk about today is zombies and the exclusivity factor. Essentially, when Call of Duty first came out and got their deal with Microsoft to have exclusive time content on there, it remained that way up until Black Ops 3, when the contract was over and they actually ended up switching over to Sony, which had it for an entire cycle. So Black Ops 3 and then coming full circle around to Black Ops 4. And this is actually when the contract ends and the deal is over. Now, they can choose to reinstate it, or they can go with Microsoft this time, or they could go with no exclusivity at all. And we're going to talk about all these different possibilities. So is the DLC season for Black Ops 4 going to be on Xbox exclusively and it's going to leave PlayStation how it's been for the past 3 years? I think maybe there is a possibility. The biggest reason why a lot of people are led to believe this is that David Vonderhaar, the studio head over at Treyarch, ended up changing his profile picture to this very recently. It's an Xbox avatar of himself. Now, of course, this could mean nothing, but you know, whenever Treyarch hype season is around, the developers know that every single little move that they make gets overanalyzed by the community to the fullest extent, and this is going to be no different. This was done deliberately. But on the contrary, I think that Sony definitely still has the more popular console. I don't know what the exact split numbers are between the two player bases, but since Call of Duty has been on the cycle of since Black Ops 3 with PS4 exclusivity, there has been a large portion of the community players that have switched to that console. Now, this means that the majority of the player base who does care about getting exclusivity and getting the DLC first, if they don't already own the said console, they're going to have to go and get one, and this essentially almost breaking up the way that the community is put together at this point if they keep flip-flopping back and forth, which does concern me a little bit. But personally, I don't see the exclusivity transferring over to Xbox still. The thing is, they have no reason, Sony has no reason to let go of this deal or to let Microsoft take this one, because if you guys don't really know why exclusivity is a thing, a lot of people don't, surprisingly, and I'll briefly explain it. It gets a little political, so we don't need to go into it in great detail, but essentially, this is when one of the companies, so either Microsoft or Sony, makes a deal with Activision to have the exclusive rights on whatever kind of content that game ends up dropping, and it's normally about a month is the way that it ends up working out. Now, the reason that this happens is for one company, so either Microsoft or Sony, to dissuade other people, other consumers that are going to be buying these consoles to not buy the other one and buy theirs, because, you know, it's kind of like extra incentive. If you're going to get DLC first on this console and this is what your friends play and this is what you're going to be playing, then why not have ours? Because you're just going to get stuff to play a month earlier. So they pay for these exclusive rights to basically set up a competition with other said developer. This isn't Treyarch themselves trying to screw us over or like piss anyone off. That's not really how that works. This is a very high up like corporate kind of thing, and why these exclusive things are actually real. But regardless of how you feel about those, that isn't really the topic at the moment. That could be a whole different discussion. I could talk about that for hours. But Sony has no reason to not reinstate the contract, and similarly, like Activision has no reason not to accept it either, as you know, these are both basically beneficial for the two of them, as PS4 is still outselling the Xbox One. Now, when this deal was made, this is kind of when the console war was hot between the Xbox and the PS4, which ones were going to outsell each other, because at the time they were both relatively new. But since that has kind of calmed down right now, mostly everybody has a next gen console for the most part anyway, and we're maybe going to be awaiting new consoles within the next few years. That they're not really going to be pushing their own consoles as hard with these kind of deals, but that doesn't mean Microsoft isn't going to try to snag that deal themselves. I do believe that is a possibility. Now, I'm not really trying to start a console war here. That's the last thing I want to do. It really doesn't matter at the end of the day. But it will adjust the way that we actually see Call of Duty events. We see it displayed. Normally, all the MLG events now, say it does go over to Microsoft, are going to be on Xbox. Normally, they were on PlayStation for these past few years. So that kind of stuff is going to change. And of course, if you do own an Xbox, then you're in luck if it does go over there. We still aren't entirely sure, but we will be finding out soon. But given the information that we have, I don't think it's enough to deduct that it is going to be on Xbox. Regardless, I'm not a huge fan of them trying to flip-flop back and forth, because that's almost going to shake and disturb the player base a little bit. Some people are going to give up on a game if it's, you know, not exclusive on their home console. They're not going to want to go out and buy another one specifically for that game. There will be a small percentage of people that do that, but not the majority, and that's what does worry me just a little bit. I don't think it is a massive argument at the end of the day, but I want to know what you guys think about this in the comments below. Do you think it is going to end up being on Xbox, or do you think it is going to remain exclusive on PS4, or perhaps no exclusivity at all? I don't think that Call of Duty is basically going to become exclusive free. It's too big of a market to not, and one of these companies are definitely going to fight for it. It would be interesting to see if that actually ended up happening, and we wouldn't have big problems with data mining that we do these days, because that is a big issue stemming from when it gets released on PC and that kind of thing. It's a very uncertain time right now, but we should have confirmation maybe within the next couple weeks. But I will keep you guys updated as soon as we hear more about it. So if you are brand new to the channel, then make sure you are subscribing. I'll have plenty more Black Ops 4 discussion videos coming out throughout this week. I want to talk a little about the campaign, a little bit about the multiplayer, and of course I want to definitely talk about zombies, because there is a lot to discuss, believe me. But anyways, that is going to be the video for today. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Once again, I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed it, leave a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. I will see you all on the next live stream or the next video. Have a good day, and peace out.